Hey there viewers, and we are on day 18 of the web design challenge, and we are going to be designing this concept for a AI powered tool that helps automate the search for new hires. My name is Roy, I'm a web designer, and let's get into the challenge. And before we get into the challenge, I would highly recommend to take on this challenge yourself. Open up Figma or Adobe XD and just give it a go, 1 hour or even less than that, and you won't regret it. Get some feedback and let's get into the challenge. Okay, so let's get into the challenge. Okay, so this is an interesting one. AI powered tool that helps automate the search for new hires and finds data to validate job candidates. So this seems quite straightforward. AI powered, so here I just straight away put in the nav, which I have a component, and I just put in the text name playboard. And here, when it comes to search UI, I tend to think of, well, there's the obvious ones like Google, Airbnb, Unsplash, for example. So they tend to have a centered layout where the search is in the middle, the heading is in the middle sometimes, because it is the main focus of the tool. So I just started out placing everything on the left. I've changed up a bit on how I do the forms. I thought I'd try something a bit different. So the button is inside the field, as you can see. It's a bit different. Why not have a go? And here I'm trying to play around with a CTA text, and you're probably not searching, or you're probably typing in the type of industry that you're looking for in terms of hires. So my head wasn't totally screwed on for how the search or how it's going to automate or begin. So I just quickly got this example in: search for designs developers. Probably should type search for designers. Again, I'm just making the field a bit wider, and some feedback on some of the designs is users might not know when to scroll, so that's why I put a little arrow icon on the bottom left there. So anyway, what I'm proceeding to do is just put the centered layout, and the search is the main focus. And here what I'm doing, I'm going straight into Tailwind CSS UI, just grabbing some icons that can represent the business again. So it's pie charts, bar charts, a tick icon again is like the goal of finding a hire. And I thought that is very straightforward. Hopefully I had a little sentence underneath which is use data to validate job candidates. So yeah, I just put the button back to search, and now what I'm doing, I think what I'm trying to do is look for illustrations. This is in stories.freepik.com, and I also look in Sketch Valley. They also have some nice illustrations. Just having a browse, but normally what I try to do is use real people, Unsplash, and just find portraits or find people that could suit the brief. But I thought this might take a bit of time, so I've got a collection built up, and here I'm still exploring, but I'm pretty sure I go back to my collections, which is really nice. So once you start using collections, you can just go back to them really, and you're building up your library, your resource of people, and happy people, for example, fitness. There's a lot of different topics. So these are ones that I felt are quite strong, and not so common as well. You don't want to pick the most famous, you don't want to pick pictures that are used everywhere. If you can, try and find ones that are not so common, but again, it could be popular somewhere else, we don't know. Anyway, I've never seen these before. I may have seen maybe one or two, but not the fellow in the middle. So I thought that was a really nice image. So what I'm doing now, I'm just thinking straight away about the layout, and I'm thinking, okay, 3 people below, and I'm using the shape of a mobile phone, 375 width by 812 height. I'm just placing that in, and I'm thinking, okay, straight away I'm going to group them and use them as a mask, and then place the images inside each one. So it's kind of maybe automating the search and looking for candidates based on your criteria. So yeah, I thought this is a really nice image. It's not so common. Let's go with that. And this is all from the same photographer as well, and the style is consistent. He has a really nice backdrop and the person just in the middle, and this is why it feels consistent. All the images, they're not all from different photographers, and they all got the same similar pose. So I thought, yeah, this could work well. And then I'm thinking icons are really nice, and they're simple. So I'm thinking, yeah, I've got to use icons in this scenario, and how can I combine it with the 3 portraits? So you kind of sense what I do is I'll put them in shapes. I've usually been putting them in circles, but this time, just to match the shape of the phones, I thought, why not have the app style shape icon, which is more square with a small border radius of 8 pixels. And I thought, oh, let me try and place these with each one. So that's kind of, you kind of think that the automation is just searching for potential hires. And I thought, yeah, I'll just put it right in the middle of the person. That seems to balance nicely rather than having it to the left, like a light bulb moment or something like that. And then a tick at the end. And here I'm just trying to group them correctly, and what I do there is I give them their own colors. Again, I try to stick to colors that are near each other, so hopefully it kind of fades well from one to the other. I think I went from blue to purple to pink. So here I'm just trying to randomize the positioning of each one so they're not exactly the same height, just to give it a bit of movement, so it kind of feels a bit more, maybe a bit more random, or well, not really random, but not so perfect. And then here I'm just looking at the button and trying to see if there's anything else I can do. And what I'm thinking is maybe to bring the search out a bit more. And then another nice thing about headings is you can play around with color in terms of the keywords. So I think what I'm doing here, I'm just trying to lay out the mask a bit better, because whenever you copy and then paste, it seems to misalign it for some reason, and I'm probably doing it wrong. So if anyone knows how to do it, please let me know in the comments. So here again, what I do, I say, yeah, this is looking pretty strong. And I think, yeah, what I'm doing, I'm giving it a shadow. I don't know if you noticed it. I'm giving it a drop shadow just to help the icon appear above. You can see there it's pretty strong, so I fade it down to about 13%. I use the same color from, for example, the blue there, I used a darker blue, and then here I use a darker pink, and it gives it that nice glow, which I think is quite nice. So it's appearing above the image. And in here I'm doing the same for the search. I'm trying to play around with the drop shadow, because again, you kind of want it to pop at the user. And here I'm just playing with shadows. Tailwinds also have their own shadow effects, so I'm just playing around with theirs and feel it might be a bit strong here and there. The only downside is if you have a background of white in the search field and you put a shadow, there is no more shadow on the top, so you can see it bleeds into the background of white. So anyway, back to the heading. You can see I'm making the keywords in bold, which is a nice thing to do, trying to highlight the keywords. You've probably seen this around. So again, I'm going back to the search and I'm trying to play around with colors and shadows, and I thought, oh, why don't I match the keywords with the colors below? And I thought this is actually pretty strong now. It gives it a bit more color, a bit more vibrancy, not just black and white all the time. And again, I think I'm struggling with the search. I'm thinking, how can I make this contrast well with the shadow? And the solution that I arrived at was using these header shapes, which you've seen around as well. And this, I give it a light grey, the lightest grey there is, and it makes the search pop out even more. So now you don't need to worry about borders on the search field, and I thought that definitely helps with the search. And now the search seems to pop out more. And then here I'm just playing around with the text. What I've seen on some designs is on searches it would say powered by XXX, for example. So here I just put in powered by Power Corp, I think, and that's the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you do find it useful, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and we'll be on to day 19. And yes, please do again, try to challenge yourself, any of the 18 challenges so far, and I'll be happy to give you feedback, and more than welcome if you can give me feedback, because this is all a learning process for me as well. And have a good morning, afternoon and evening. Bye.